Tonight is our first episode of That's Just My Cousin.
Is there going to be a second?
I don't know, okay. But tonight, if we get ratings, okay. We need at least 500 views.
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. You tell me. So our guest tonight is no other than my cousin.
Hey, guys.
Now our special guest is from England. How are you doing tonight?
Am I supposed to show you my split personality now?
Yes.
All right.
So, ma'am, what is on your mind tonight?
I would like to talk about an untold epidemic that that people face that it's really not talked about. Well, I would like to talk about living in an apartment building right beside chronic weed smokers. It's quite disturbing if it's not something that you're used to smelling.
Right.
I can't really say that for myself. However, I remember one day last week walking in here, and I have a son. I remember looking back at him, and I said, "Do you smell that strange smell?"
Mm-hmm.
And it was something that was really unfamiliar to him, and I quite honestly, I got happy because, he's 14. So I was really, really happy that he was unfamiliar with such a smell. And it was very potent, it permeated through the entire apartment.
Okay.
I believe they would call it kush. I'm not exactly sure what they would call that, but it's very potent. And I do remember later on,
right.
I fixed dinner, and afterwards, when I cooked for my son, I fixed him a whole plate, and when he was finished, he actually wanted more.
So, do you think he had secondhand smoke?
I do not think it was secondhand smoke, but I do believe it was a little bit of contact that he got from the neighbors, because sorry. I know that my cousin here, he's a preacher, and I know he was coming over, so I tried to rush home before he got here, and I went upstairs to grab some of my is it Arm & Hammer? I do believe it's Arm & Hammer spray, and I tried to spray it throughout the entire apartment, but somehow, because the smell was so loud, believe that's another name they call it. It was so loud that when you walked in, I do believe you said, "I'm sorry, have you been smoking?" And I was like, no, sorry, I did quit that actually a few years back. But it was really ruining my vocal cords. So, so the smell was so loud. He actually, I remember you did say that, "Have you been smoking?" And I thought, no, that's actually my neighbor, as this is like a recreational thing for them. They do this every day. I was feeling a wee down last week. I wanted to go over to join them, but seeing as how I work for the government, I couldn't really go over there. You just never know when they're going to pop up with those dreadful drug tests. But, nevertheless, it's been quite adventurous. I do find myself giggling every now and then, and nothing's even really funny. So I do believe I've had a bit of contact myself. So it has been quite interesting living over here. I would actually like to meet my neighbors.
You want to become friends with
them? I would like to meet them, actually. Have a little bit of a bonfire outside, and just a little bit of a bonfire, because it's I may be able to get away with it a little bit if I just tiptoe back there, throw a little bit of the leaves on the barbie, and just kind of inhale every now and then, try to get a little bit of that,
Oh my
And we've had a couple of guests over tonight, and we've had quite a bit of fun. As you guys can see, we have been on and off of
Live.
Facebook Live, and we have all had the giggles. I do believe that my neighbors, and with them being such chronic users, so it's been a very interesting night, to say the least, Facebook. I will tell you that. See, as you can see, everyone in here has the giggles. Can you smell it outside? Do you smell that outside? It's a little bit of herb, a little bit of... It's a little bit of herb, a little bit of maybe so. A little bit of herb, a little bit of pine cones. My neighbor on the other side has a dog, and it just barks and barks and barks until they start lighting up on the other side of me. The dog just seems to be so mellowed out after that, after the smoke starts to circulate. So yeah. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I face. For many people who live in an apartment, there's worse things. I do believe, because I had a comedian say that that plant is a plant and it grows like that, but if you should happen to light it on fire, there are some effects of that plant, and it's easy recognizable. I remember maybe like my first couple of days when I moved over here, I thought, did I leave something on? I know I had cooked some collard greens, but I knew that was not my collards. But my neighbors, I haven't actually, like I said, I would like to meet them. I do believe they're good people. I think that anyone who can smoke every day like that has to be a good person. They have to be a good person. I'm not, exactly sure what they do for work. Apparently can't be much. Sorry. Yeah, so, it's been quite enjoyable. One thing I will say is that this is a very quiet neighborhood. And it is my belief that it's quiet because everyone over here has some sort of contact. It's like, it's very pleasant over here. So yeah, that's one of the things that I face over here. But I leave for work every morning really happy. So maybe I should go over and thank my neighbors for smoking every single day. So not even the candles that I lit, or my ceiling fan, or the rest of my Bath and Body Works perfume that I have upstairs were able to mask the smell of the ganja that's going on next door. But I can honestly say that it's been quite an experience for me. I wonder if they have a garden over there of it. Do you think they do? I wonder if I just tiptoe over there and take a couple of the leaves or things.
Don't go over.
But I did hear that they make a great recipe for brownies. At least that's what I'm told. Now, I can honestly say I have never made the brownies. However, I used to partake, and then it used to do a little trick with my vocal cord, so I had to stop. Would you think they'd mind?
They would mind. They would.
Well, here's my thing. They're already sharing with me. They may not realize that they're sharing their product with me, but they are. And I wonder if that's why I had a bit of a headache the other night.
That might be it.
So, Tyree has been gone all week, and I can honestly say that I know he's going to come back a new person. After maybe an hour of being inside the apartment. I know he's going to eat up everything in the refrigerator because the neighbor's weed smoke has came through the vents, and I constantly keep my air on because it's still a little bit of high temperatures outside. Yes, that is one of the things that I trouble myself with. I mean, did you smell it when you came here?
Yes.
I really tried to mask the smell, but not even the air wicks. I have air wicks, I have Bath and Body Works, I have so many things. I even put on an extra layer of deodorant and tried to mask the smell, and it just did not work. Even when I flattened my hair, the smell of, cooked hair permeated throughout, but nothing could take away the smell of the loud from next door. I don't know what I'm going to do. I guess I'm going to have to take some deep breaths and, just join the party. There's nothing wrong with that, So I do think that I really don't know why they have not decided to legalize that here. Because clearly my neighbors are freely. I mean, there is not a day that goes, even on Sunday they smoked, and I was afraid that when I went to church that I would be judged more than I already am. That I would be judged because I smell a little bit like weed smoke. The Lord told me to come as I am. However,
don't you misquote my law.
No, well, that's what the church people say. I'm just quoting them. I don't know. That's what they say. So, I'm just not quite sure that he would like for me to come over there smelling like loud. That's a very recognizable smell.
Right.
I know that it has been changed and manipulated a little bit over the years. So, some people who are, may not recognize that smell because it's a little different than from what I used to do. But there comes a time in your life when you have to make certain decisions, and you have to really decide: do I want to continue to be a weed smoker, or would I like to join the rest of society and go get a job? I mean, I don't know. Some people, they can, I really, just being honest, I had to make that decision for myself. And it was really hard because I really quite enjoy that smell. I would be the first one to tell you that I would probably, if they made a spray, I'd go buy. And I would make a purchase.
So you want to go around smelling like weed?
Not necessarily. Like if they legalized it, then I can really justify it when I get to work. Thing is, how I have my government job, I don't think it's appropriate for me to go smelling like the people that I see. But nevertheless, I do think that it's been quite an experience for me to live over here. Like I said, it's really quiet, and I do believe that is because all of the people over here are really high. I mean, my neighbors, I believe they have a marathon over there or something. And on the weekends, it's like I just lay in bed, and sometimes I believe that I can lay in my bed, and when I have my air on, I can see smoke coming through the vents. Really interesting. Oh, it's really something. You guys should see it. Now, I don't know if maybe I have a little bit of too much contact and I'm hallucinating. But nevertheless, that also makes me think that I have seen a little bit of spiders here. I keep seeing spiders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, I'm really led to believe that, am I really seeing spiders? Or am I just really high from the contact that my neighbors are allowing to come over here? I'm just not quite sure. I don't know. I just never can tell, I never can tell, I don't know. I'm just really afraid that you know, one day when I go to work, we're gonna have a random drug test, and I'm gonna have to explain. Well, no, my neighbors, they smoke, and it comes over. I don't think they're gonna believe me, seeing as you know.
They may not.
They may not. I don't think I can get away with it, but you know, do whatever you like. It can be a bit recreational. I love the smell myself. But it's just something that I really had to quit doing now. I don't mind catching a whiff of it every now and then. However, you know, with me going natural and my natural hair, I'm really in love with my hair, and I do not like it smelling like smoke, even if it is loud. You know, has anyone out there ever experienced something like that? Living next door to someone who constantly smokes weed every single day. No, there is not a day that goes by on Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, your birthday, my birthday, there's smoking. I think that
on your birthday.
On my birthday, listen to me, people. I moved over here about a month ago. My birthday was in June. I'm quite sure they were smoking around that time. I just have never experienced anything like that in my life. You know, I remember cooking some spaghetti a couple of weeks ago, right? And you know, I like to use different herbs and whatnot in my spaghetti, and I could have sworn the oregano that I picked up, and I had bought it from what's that store over there near the no, not Lowe's. It's not a chain. What is the name of that store over there? It's Save a Lot. You know, when they say you save a lot, you really save a lot. I bought me my herbs out of there. You know, garlic and normal things to make us spaghetti, because I like to you know, add my own things in there. And while I was making it, I used my oregano, and I really thought that my oregano smelled like loud. No, it was my neighbors the entire time. It was my neighbors. I mean, you know, I really should go over and introduce myself, just by chance they follow you on Facebook. But yeah, it's quite interesting. I do think so. You know, a lot of times when they pull up, they park crooked. So I think that I think that
oh my God, my head hurt like it's
yeah, I think that they may be a little high when they're coming home also. Like, it just carries, you know, throughout their day with them. I don't, you know, maybe they carry it, you know, keep a little bit in their pocket and they go on their lunch breaks, and
oh man,
I'm not sure, but I can't imagine, other than for medicinal purposes, why you would medicinal purposes, meaning your doctor actually prescribed that medication for you. I just cannot imagine, you know, doing that every day unless you really, really had a medical problem. Otherwise, if that's for recreation, I really hate to see their lungs.
Oh my God.
But that's enough about that. You know, it's really, really hard trying to keep my son in here focused, because he is 14, and although he does not recognize the smell of the loud coming from next door, I am a little fearful that you know how they say that as a gateway drug. I think that I'm a little fearful that you know, he might want to try and experience other things if he notices that you know, what it becomes a familiar smell one day. You know, I'm really afraid of that. And you know, he comes to me and says, "Mom, I thought you Mom, I thought you told me that was the oregano from the store. No, son, I do apologize. I had to, protect you from, from all that. But it's all right. I have really enjoyed it. Now, I will tell everyone that since August, I have lost quite a bit of weight. 65 pounds to be exact. I know it might.
That's due to the drugs.
No. I do think that. Nakia, if we were talking about crack, I do believe that. That's how you lose the weight. Now, since I've been over here, though, however, my appetite has really picked back up, and I'm afraid that due to the weed smoke coming through the walls, that I may gain a little bit of my weight back, and that's really unhealthy. My doctor, she really gave me strict instructions: do not, under any circumstance, fall off your diet, and with smelling the weed smoke and my appetite increasing, I do believe that I have officially fallen off 2 wagons. So, one wagon, if I didn't have my job that I had, okay, whatever, I'd probably still be smoking, but whatever, I can't do that anymore. So I really had to. I call myself a reformed weed smoker. I really am reformed. That means I quit. I quit smoking. But they say that the devil, he really tries to tempt you, and I do believe that. Even though me and my son being here is a good situation, the devil is trying to creep through my veins. With all of the smoke that's coming through here and allowing us to breathe in the air, I try to pray to God and ask him to create in me a clean heart, but since I've been here, my lungs aren't very clean, so I don't know how he would handle that. God forbid something happens to me and I had to go answer to him like, oh, I'm sorry, it really wasn't me. I wasn't high. It was the neighbors. It was the neighbors the entire time. I don't know. But, it hasn't been too dreadful, but it has been, quite an experience, especially when I have company over. Like when you guys came in here today, you automatically thought that he really thought that I had...
Little loud.
He thought that I had been smoking. Now...
You're right.
Now, I know that my eyes are very small. However, I hadn't been smoking, And I really had to prove myself to the pastor when he came over here. I'm like, no, pastor, it wasn't me. It's really my neighbors, And here's the thing. He really didn't believe me because I had just finished lighting the candle. I had a lighter in my hand. So he automatically assumed that it was me, It's really, really difficult to try to explain to people that it's not me. I know it's really, really thick in here with the loud from next door, but I swear it wasn't me. How did that song go from back in the day? She caught me on the counter. It wasn't me. What's the problem? I'm just expressing myself with this situation. He thought I was smoking loud. It wasn't me. It was really my neighbors, I swear. But
oh my God.
Coming from somewhere like England, we walk up and down the street all day and smoke, not a problem. But I moved here, and I thought that
How long you been here? How long you been here?
I've been here 2 weeks. I thought that I had completely eliminated that problem, but apparently it followed me here, and it's I don't know. I think it's toying with me. The devil, he's really trying to tap dance on my nerves. And she's trying to get me to go over to my neighbors and introduce myself. Would it be too much if I actually went over there to their garden and took a couple of their leaves, chopped them up and made brownies and took them over as they welcome to the neighborhood, even though I'm the new person? I mean, is that a problem?
Yes.
You think
that's a problem.
so I should not go over to the neighbors and introduce myself? See, the devil, he really tries. He really, really does. And it's really difficult for me because I do enjoy the smell just as much as I enjoy a really good smelling man. But this right here, I really need you to pray for me that I will try to resist temptation, because it is, anyone who's ever, smoked a little, you do understand where I'm coming from. So, yes, I just don't know. I'm really trying to stay focused, and I have a son, so I can't keep him away from home all the time. And I really, sometimes he goes to his grandmother's, and I'm just, hoping that one day she won't call me and say, "Do you think Tyree may be smoking? Because he came over here and his eyes were a little glassy, and he reeked of loud." And then I'm going to have to explain to her that no, Ruby, it's actually our neighbors. She's going to think that I'm taking up for him. I've never been that parent, but in that situation, I mean, how can you really explain yourself to someone and say, it's not me, it's not me, it's my neighbors? So.
Well, we have a few minutes left. Are there any questions? Feel free to type them in the box. We do thank you all for joining.
You know what I'm really wondering? I'm really concerned about the money that's being spent on.
Just come whenever you come in. Come straight down.
About the on the product.
Right.
Just straight. You're coming.
With as potent as this is, I do believe they could really probably make a living off of it.
So you're saying they should do what?
Now, I don't recommend that anyone sells it, because that would be a whole nother set of problems over here in the neighborhood.
Right?
It'll be a whole nother show, and then I'll have to explain to everyone why the police was knocking on my door, thinking it was the neighbors who was actually smoking the weed. Trying to avoid all that, I do not recommend anyone sells it. However, if you want to use it for recreational purposes, I do think that you should take into consideration your entire neighborhood, who you have now introduced to loud. Everyone over here is in a daze. No one speaks to the other person. The other day, one of my neighbors, he had been outside for a little while, and when I came back home, he was still outside. He was working on his truck. And he actually spoke to me. We passed a few remarks to each other. I do believe that he actually spoke and had a bit of consciousness, because he was outside breathing fresh air. So, that loud is it's really potent, Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions, unless your computer is frozen again. But
we have no questions.
I don't believe we do. But thank you all for joining in. If you all have this problem, I see Jonathan. That's a good friend of mine. We used to actually take a little bit of puff passes together. Yeah. So it's quite an experience to take part in something like that. Especially when a connection who actually has some loud. Yeah.
Well, we thank you all for tuning in.
Thank you so much.
First episode.
And let me just tell you guys, please know that this is all me, the pastor here. The pastor here, he does not condone any of this. He, how do they say it on television, where they do not
approve this message?
He does not approve this message. However, I approve it. Anyone who has ever spoken some loud probably approves it, because they know that Yeah.
I'm Joey.
Hi, Junior. How are you? You look a little familiar.
I am a bit familiar.
I'm sorry, are you one of my neighbours? Are you one of the smokers? Okay. Oh wait, I'm sorry. So you actually drove up? They were outside smoking?
Yeah.
Oh, all of the animals in the neighbourhood. All of my neighbours. The trash men in the morning. Everyone's going to get a contact. Junior, let me just first tell you, I do apologise because my neighbours, they are avid weed smokers. And did you tell them when you came in here? I think that we're actually used to. We've been sitting in here for a couple of hours, and I do believe that the smell has. We've gotten used to it.
We thank y'all for tuning in to our first episode of That's Just My Cousin.
I'm really not sure if there's going to be a second episode. Seeing as how you live 2 hours away, but this is really fun. It was really, really fun. So I do apologize in advance. Please let Tiffany know that you were not smoking when you go home. That you do not smoke weed. It was Nakia's neighbors. Okay. Yeah, you know that. Nakia's neighbors. Now there is a song that you can use when you get home. You know that. I believe he was British as well. You know, she caught me in the cat. It wasn't me.
Yeah.
Use that. I know it smells like weed, but it wasn't me. You can actually use that. I believe it'll work. I mean, it worked for him. Why wouldn't it work for Junior? So, good night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know that yeah, you know.
We may do a show tomorrow night. Maybe.
Are you staying here?
Yeah.
You're staying here in my place?
Yeah.
Please know all of the people who attends his church. It is not him. All right, it is not him. He is not smoking weed. You may see him tomorrow in the neighborhood, or you may see him in Sanford, and his eyes may be a little bit glassy, but it's not him. And I can assure you that if you catch him in a restaurant and it looks like he has a lot of food in front of him, it is not because he has the munchies. It's because that he's actually greedy in real life. So, you know, just pray for the pastor while he stays here with me, while he's visiting his home, that maybe the neighbors will be a little bit considerate of my visitors that I have and not smoke. Maybe you should go over and talk to them and let them know that you're a pastor. Maybe they'll tone down the weed smoking, and it will save us all for tomorrow. No one will accuse you of smoking weed. You used to sound like Junior. It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I know I smell like weed. I know my eyes are glassy. It's because I caught a little bit of contact from Nakia's neighbors. So
we thank y'all for tuning in to and we're a little bit over time. And they're wrapping us up in the corner.
Oh, are they? Who? Oh. No one's over there. It's the hallucinations. He's hallucinating because the weed is coming over again. They normally light up around this time again. Yeah, I believe he's catching a little bit of contact. He's pointing over there in the corner, and there's no one over there. There's no one over there. Trust me.
Good night, y'all. Please share this video.
Or not.